29th of December, Rabbi Levitt, Gemorrah.
Boy.
Hey.
I'm gonna mute unless you need me because I have background.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, where did we get up to? Oh, we were in the middle of this Rashi, the long Rashi. We read the long Rashi, right? Yeah, that's what we did. Oh, and we're discussing Tova Sana. That's what we're discussing. Okay, fine. Okay, so yeah. I don't know, maybe you can say that people were not such businessmen back then. They were very afraid to sustain a loss. They'd rather not sustain a loss than engage in a gamble to gain a profit. So it seems to be to me clear from what maybe here not so clear, but Rashi in a companion Gemorrah in Ksubas saying pretty clearly that it's he's afraid to risk it. Because the purchaser is placing his money in a doubt. Maybe she is going to pass away in the lifetime of the husband. So therefore, the purchaser is afraid. And he will not purchase her ksuba. Ella b'damim muatim. He will only he won't offer to pay except damim muatim. So to me, that doesn't sound like he's going to be willing to pay too very much, because he's afraid. In any case, the main point over here is we're just saying that it's going to be less than the full amount. How much less than the full amount? Is not really the issue. But in any case, what comes out is that this is the husband was able to take away from the lekuchos altogether when she does pass away first, is because of tekanas usha. And otherwise, minatora, he would not be able to take, because his rights as a receiver of the profits are in no way regarded as being tantamount to owning the property, and therefore he would have no way to stop the wife from selling the property to a third party and cut him out of the Yerusha. Okay. Oh, here the Gemorrah is going to discuss exactly what. Oh, so now what are we up to? Viso kedaitoch? Viso kedaitoch leisa letakonas usha.
This is on 89A1, left-hand column, second to the left, last paragraph. Rav Idi Bar Avin concludes.
Okay, so Lou, you want to start off the reading?
Yeah. Isalka daitach lesa le sakanas usha. If you would think that there is not the decree of usha, amai Yerashena Bala. Why does the husband inherit? Tizabain besubasa le gamre. Let her sell her ketubah completely. So why would the husband inherit her? I don't get the point of saying let her sell her ketubah completely.
Okay, the first step we have to figure out, we have to understand is what is he saying over here? Leisa l'takanas usha. Is there a question about whether there was such a thing as takanas usha or not? For some reason, he's saying, if we say that there was if we're gonna think to say that we're not gonna go with takanas usha. There's no takanas usha over here. So now, what does that mean if there's no takanas usha? What that would mean would be that the woman, if she would sell her niksei malug, so then would the husband be able to take it out from the lekuchot if she predeceased him? No, she wouldn't be able to, because without takanas usha, we fall back on the din Torah, and the din Torah says that Roy is trying to call me. Yes, Roy. Oh, sorry, I see that you've been trying to get in. Okay. Okay, very good. You're welcome. My pleasure. So isokadaita leisa tekanas usha. If you thought to say that there's not tekanas usha. Welcome back to Roy.
Thank you.
So then we would say that without tekanas usha, we would say like we said in the Mishnah, with the father deeding his property to the son. The son wants to sell his rights in the property, even though the father has held back to himself the right to receive the produce of the property. Nevertheless, the son has the power to sell the property, and the sale would be a 100% effective sale. that the purchaser would be in the same exact position as the son. So even if the son would go before the father, the purchaser would not lose his interest in the property. And when the father passed away, so now he would get not only the goof of the property, but also the right to receive the produce of the property as well. And if so just like we would say in that case in the Mishnah, we would say the very same thing, Kate, in the case with the wife. The wife would be able to sell the property to a purchaser, and the husband, even though he has during the marriage the right to receive the profits of the property, the nichsei malug that the wife owns, that would not be able to stop the wife from getting be able to sell the property. And so therefore the Gemorrah says, Amai Yersheno Bala. Why would the husband inherit her in that case if she predeceased him? And then the Gemorrah says, Tezavin Ksubasa, Lagamre. The Gemorrah seems to be saying, let this woman sell her ksuva outright, completely, lagamre, to this purchaser. Okay, now what we're trying to do is figure out what the point of the Gemorrah is over here. What is the Gemorrah's point over here? If there's no Tekanas Usha, so Amai Shena Bala, why would the Baal inherit her? So in that case, Tezavin Ksubasa Lagamre. She should be able to sell her ksuba lagamre. Rashi is silence. Rashi is silence. So it must be simple. Rashi felt no need to comment over here.
Right.
Let's not try to overcomplicate this matter. What's the Gemorah's point over here? Tezavin ksuvasa lagamre. This properties that the woman has, the nixi som barzel, that is what's written in the ksuba. She should be able to sell it outright to the lokeach, such that even after her passing, the husband will not be able to take it away from the purchaser. He's not an inheritor in this case. So I think what the Gemorrah means to say over here is, according to this, if this would be so, the value of the ksuva should not simply be tovas ano, like the Bryce that told us before. It should be for the full amount of the ksuva that's written in the ksuva. And since the witnesses, the Eidim Zomim, they wanted to, their testimony was, he divorced her and he already paid the ksuba to her. So that amounts to the loss, not only of the tovas and of the ksuba, but the entire ksuba they should have to pay. So why is it that the Brisa says they only have to pay tovas and
Because she's not going to get the kasuva if she dies first. So they didn't deprive her of the kasuva in the eventuality that she dies first. They only deprived her of the kasuva in the eventuality that she's divorced or her husband dies first. So therefore, she's not entitled to the full value. She's only entitled to what they took away from her.
But here we're saying that she should be able to sell the ksuva for the whole value.
That's what I don't understand.
So the reason why she's able to, in this case, why should it be that it's for the full value? This is not clear. That the purchasers are not in a better position than she is. Even without Takanas Usha, if she predeceases the husband, there's no ksuba. The Gemorrah is saying, why would the Baal inherit her? Why would the Baal inherit her? The Baal will not inherit her in this case. She's already successfully sold the ksuba. The Baal's not inheriting this ksuba.
No. She hasn't successfully sold the kasuba. She has successfully sold the Nixay Malug, the goof.
There seems to be something that's not so simple over here about what the Gemorrah is saying over here. The Gemorrah is saying that she should be able to sell her ksuba legamre. I'm not sure why. Wow. Never really got a hold of this sugya because I went away. When you go away, you interrupt and you can't get back. Admittedly, it's a difficult sugya to begin with. But okay, so let's just see So we don't understand this section right here. Let's just see what Abaya responds. Abaya.
There's a footnote here that talks about the Tzon Barzel. Apparently, the Tzon Barzel has something to do with this. I don't understand the footnote.
Well, that's what the Abaya is going to talk about now.
Right.
Let's see what Abaya says. Alan, you want to read? Oh, Roy is also got lost again. Roy's having real trouble with his. Wow. And he's not even calling me yet. Wow.
89A1, right?
89A.
Right.
89A1, left-hand column, for last line.
The Gemara rejects the proof. Omar Abai said, Im Omru the Nisay Malog, if they stated in regard to Milog property that her sale is valid, Yomru say Tzon and Barzol, did they state the same in regard to Tzon Barzol property? Should I continue to the next part? The Gemara digresses to discuss the discounted value of a woman's ksuba.
Yeah, no, that's not and not for us now. We got our hands full with the last two lines. Wow. Okay, and does here Rashi does say a few lines. So I guess we'll try to read these few lines of what Rashi says over here. Maybe it'll help us. Okay, who would like to read the Rashi? Phil, you want to read the Rashi?
I'll try, but don't, if it gets too loud, you let me know. Okay. The first Rashi is short, the second one's long.
Yeah.
If you'd say it had to do with the blue property, Shetuchal Lemochron, that can be go to the seller. The Ein Habal Motzei, and the husband does not take it out miyad immediately. Miyad halakocha, from the hands of the purchaser. Shahare im pichato, if it becomes less, it becomes less. Tahar, it becomes less tahar. If the value gets less, then the value gets less tahar. The im hotiro. There's a, I guess it's a depreciation. If that value of that item depreciates, it's her depreciation. And if that value improves in value, appreciates, that appreciation belongs to her. That's what the blue properties are.
She's the owner of the property.
It's not a fixed amount. It's a variable amount. So whatever happens, happens. The price goes up, she wins. The price goes down, she loses. He just has to give the same property back, not the value of the property. Unlike the case of with Tzon Barzol, which is like the fixed price. Whatever price it comes in on is a price it has to go out on. Here's the long Rashi. Yomer b'nichnei Tzon Barzol, of the Tzon Barzol property, the ketuva ta, in her ketuva, the hainu nedunya. That's the nedunya. We always say that when we read the ketuba under the chuppah. It's her dowry, I guess you'd call it. Shehed nichnasa lo, that was entered into that's low is him. Bishomea. Bishuma, that's an evaluation.
Yeah.
An evaluation. Mibeit aviha, from her father's house. It's the father's dowry given to her, given supposedly. The kotvim, and you write it, oto it, b'ketuvata in her ketuva, u'mekabel olav, and it's accepted on it. Chatan, Chavan accepts it, achriyut, the responsibility. The im pitchu, pitcholu. Now here, this case is if the thing depreciates, the depreciation is to him. The im hotiro, and if appreciates, hotirolo, he gets the appreciation. Get the amrin, like we say in Yabamos, in Yabamos, the almana l'kohen godel. That's I guess the perik in
Right.
Yabamos, the an almana of a kohen godel. Nichnesei tzon barzel. Nichnesei that it's tzon barzel are nichnesim. These are properties. Omdim ba'achriut that are standing in with the guarantee. Hamakabel, the shalem that they're guaranteed that they will accept to be paid. Aim barzel, kind of like steel that it's fixed, you can't move. Zeh, shehu kasher liot b'chok, because it's hard to lessen it. The chatam in there, vadai lo motzei mizavene. You definitely cannot. Mizavene is selling it, isn't it? You're not able to
Right.
sell it.
She, the wife, in other words, whatever is written in the ksuva that in regard to the Niksei Som Barzel, that is on his achrayas. If it goes up in value, he's the one that gets the profit. If it goes down in value, he's the one that takes the loss. So, on account of that, it's different than the case of Niksei Malug that are written into the Ksuva. Niksei Malug she's the one that has the achrayas on the properties. If they go up, she's the one that gains. If they go down, she's the one that loses. The only thing the husband has is the right to receive the payros of those properties. So therefore, Rashi is explaining that here in this case of the ksuba, that Ravidi Bar Avin was saying previous that she should be able to sell the ksuba legamre. Abaya is saying, well, how can you say that she could sell it legamre? If this ksuba would be made up of Niksei Maluk properties and also Niksei Som Barzel properties, that's part of the nedunya that she's putting into the marriage. So she retains the achrayas on the Niksei Maluk properties. So therefore, Rashi says she would be able to sell those properties, and the Baal would not be able to take it out from the purchaser if she would predecease him. But in regard to the Niksei Tzom Barzel properties that are written in the Ksuva, that's a whole different story, because the Baal takes the price for them, and in that case they're not like the Niksei Tzom Barzel, and therefore Rashi concludes at the end of this Rashi, he says the Hassam over there in regard to these Niksei Tzom Barzel properties, Vadai lo motzi mizavna. Surely she will not have the ability to sell the ksuva that contains these properties, because she doesn't have the same hold on these properties as she does on the Niksei Maluk properties. And
I
so
don't
with
get that. My understanding is that the at the time of the marriage, The wife owns a field. And they designate that field as Nixay Tzon Barza, which means that they get an appraiser, and the appraiser says, okay, this field is worth $1,000. So now we will write into the Kesuva that the husband owes the wife $1,000. And the husband now becomes the owner of this field. He owns it lock, stock, and barrel.
Highest number of illegal immigrants coming into our nation since they've been
So,
keeping records.
Helen, your radio is playing.
There's definitely a cry. There's
Right.
definitely chaos.
Samuel.
But what does the Democrats do? What does the Democrats
So
do?
it seems to me, based on what I just said, if I'm correct, that the field is irrelevant. The field is no longer in the picture. It's owned by the husband. The significance of the Tzon Barzel is that the husband has now an obligation through the Ketsuva to pay the wife $1,000. So why can't she sell that? She sells the Ketsuva saying, if I'm divorced or widowed, then you, the purchaser, will get $1,000 instead of me. I don't see why the achrayus issue is coming into it. I understand the achrayus point that he does better or worse depending on what happens to the field, because he owns the field. So if the field goes up, he gets more. If the field goes down, he gets less. That's clear. But what is it? Why is it relevant? I don't see the point.
They're saying there's a difference in the other case. The other case, he has to give her back the field, whether it goes up or goes down. It's her problem whether it went up or down. This case, he just has to give the fixed amount back. It's two types of property that are involved with the wife, what has to get returned.
Right, but why did that affect the
So the
sale?
question, so can you sell one and not the other? That's the question. This question here was saying that if you say the Malog type of property, you're allowed to sell that, then shouldn't you also be allowed to sell the Tzon Barzel? Shouldn't you be able to sell all of the properties? You have two types of properties. Do they both get sold, or only one gets sold? It only applies to one and not the other.
Well, obviously, she can't sell the Tzon Barzel because she doesn't own it.
Well, it's her value. She has the value in it. That money has to be returned to her.
The value, so she can sell the value. Why shouldn't she be able to sell the value? It's a debt. The husband owes her $1,000. She'll go to the purchaser and say, listen, I'm giving you the right to collect $1,000 from my husband. And you pay me whatever for that right.
This is, wow, I don't know. I don't know whether it's just because I wasn't here and I didn't see this, or whether this is just generally a very complicated Gemorrah. But I don't see it. I don't get it. Don't get it at all. Is there a note there that maybe will help us a little bit about what Abai is saying?
Yeah, there's a very long note.
Ah. Okay.
You want me to read it?
Okay.
You want to start with the 5, note 5,
Reading
before the
note
note 6?
6 on 89A1.
But they may be connected to 5, which talked about them lower.
5 is on the previous. 5 is on the point about if there's no Usha, let her sell her Kesuva.
Yeah, let's hear that, because that's the first step over here.
Okay, So number 5. True, the husband will not have to pay the 100 or 200 zoos if she dies first.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. That's the base amount that is
Yeah.
part of the kasuba, 100 or 200 zoos. So if she dies first, then the husband doesn't have to pay that. Which would explain why the kasuba is discounted on this account. Meaning that since the purchaser might end up getting nothing if she dies first, he's not going to pay the full value. But why does the Brisa state that the kasuva is discounted because if she dies first, the husband would inherit her, which
Yeah,
refers
why
to the
not?
Tzon Barzel property. Since the basic and supplementary kasuba amounts are not inherited by the husband if she dies first, but are simply obligations that he does not have to pay. So what is the point here? The Tzon Barzel property is inherited by him, meaning he owes her $1,000 based on my example. So if she dies first, then that $1,000 debt evaporates. He doesn't owe it to her anymore because she's not there. Maybe that's what they mean when they say he inherits the Tzon Barzel. Because according to my understanding, it can't mean that he inherits the property, the field, because he already owns the field. Unless I'm misunderstanding what Tzon Barzel is. If there is no such thing as the enactment of Usha, the wife would be able to sell the Tzon Barzel property completely. Even, oh, Phil, you got to mute, please.
Okay.
Even in the event that she dies first. Now, what does that mean? If there is no such thing as the enactment of Usha, the wife should be able to sell the Tzon Barzel property completely, even in the event that she dies first. Okay, that statement I do not understand. There must be something that I'm not understanding about how Tzon Barzel works.
Yeah, we haven't been discussing anything about Tzon Barzel until now.
Right,
We've only been discussing Nixay Malug, and all of a sudden the Gemorrah is throwing at us Tzon Barzel.
right, right. Maybe we need to review the laws of Tzon Barzel.
Yeah, we need to do something over here. This Gemorrah is wow. This Gemorrah is really something.
Well, I read what it says in the back of the Sefer here, what Tzon Barzel is.
Okay.
Literally, iron sheep. The portion of a woman's dowry assessed prior to the marriage. Its value is recorded in the Ketubah. Should the marriage end, reimbursement is made to the woman at the property's assessed value, even if in the interim it was lost or damaged. Thus, the property's value remains preserved for the wife like iron.
Okay, so it doesn't mention anything over there about who owns the property. That the husband is receiving that property.
Right.
It just sounds like the difference between that and Malug is that by Malug there's no such evaluation that's made of the property. The Nixay Malug belongs to the woman. And the only rights that the husband has to the Nixay Malug property is that he's got the right to receive the produce of the field, which is not so in the case of Tzom Barzel. Tzom Barzel is the husband, perhaps in addition to him getting the fruits of the field, he also gets, if it goes up in value, he wins. If he goes down in value, he loses, because and this evaluation that they make on the property, if it's if they evaluate the property at 1,000 and they write that into the ksuba, so that means that's cast in iron that she's going to receive that amount no matter what happens to the property. Whether the property goes up or down, she's going to get that 1,000. But it does sound according to that. So then we have to ask, so who owns the property? What's doing with the property? Is he going to, it sounds, did we say that he's going to inherit that property if she goes before him? Well, in both cases, he's going to inherit the property if she goes before him.
It's late and I got to go now. Take care.
Okay.
Be well.
All the best, Phil.
Take care. Hopefully tomorrow.
Okay, Rabbi, thank you very much.
Okay, we will persevere.
Amen.
Okay.
We'll
See you
get this
tomorrow.
Gemorrah.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you at 4.
4 o'clock, Alan. Yep.
Okay,
Or five of 4.
5 up, right.
All right. Bye for now. Thank you.
Okay,
Have a great day, guys.
Bye, Roy.
everybody.
Have a great